You've probably seen that it's easier than ever before to build with AI and potentially make some money online. Or at least that's what everyone keeps saying. But when you actually see the videos, they spend up a few moments generating a really nice UI, but they don't actually show you how to get the application working. They don't actually show you how to get your first set of customers. Well, that's the point of today's channel. My name is Jeremiah. I am the co-founder of InterviewMaster.ai. I have built a dozen or more AI apps at this point, or apps using AI. And what I've discovered, I want to share with you all. So if you come along with me on this journey, we'll cover all of these topics. And by the end of it, you will be able to go from zero to your first 100 customers in an application that you've built. And why 100 customers? Well, your first 100 customers are huge. If your application costs $10 a month, that can be your first $1,000 a month. If your application costs $20 a month, that is your first 2,000. And at 2,000, then you can start looking at whether or not you're able to scale this thing out into a full-time opportunity, maybe move to Southeast Asia or something. But fantasies aside, I want to get down into the nitty-gritty of how do you go about not just building an app, but how do you go about building a business? So the very first thing that people typically think about whenever they're thinking through their first application is they first focus a lot on the idea stage. This is this red area. We've got idea generation, we have idea validation, we have idea business planning. You have to make a nice business document, so that your business is legit. Um, some people see the AI hype and they say, oh, I'm going to go straight into the build. I'm going to pick up the tech stack that everyone's using. I'm going to build a front end, a back end, a middle end, API layer. Uh, and then I'm going to use AI agents to do all that for me. And we're going to be able to start making some money. Maybe they went through their own idea generation phase and then they said, okay, I'm ready to build it out. I'm ready to get started. What I'm going to propose to you all is actually something completely different because a lot of people get stuck at this stage. Some people make it down to this stage, the build stage. And then finally they're like, okay, then after I do all of that, then I'm going to do my marketing, maybe hire some influencers, maybe do some paid ads, and then I'm going to make a lot of money. And what I'm suggesting is that we actually going to start here. Why are we starting with distribution? Well, what I said earlier is actually true. This stage, this building phase, has become easier than ever. In fact, I think that genuinely anyone on this planet can become a programmer, can make really amazing applications that they can interact with online. And that is a fantastic time to live in. The problem, however, is that a lot of times we think that our idea is great. We think that our idea is worth $1 million, and the reality is that it's not. The reason why our idea tends to not actually be worth $1 million is because our idea has no distribution. What do I mean by that? Well, you can have a $10 idea, but $1 million distribution, and that is worth a $10 million business. So with this in mind, and you can look, you can shake my word on it, or you can experiment with yourself. But I'm telling you, just leverage my experience here. I've been in tech for my entire career, and I'm telling you, distribution is the place to start. So what do we mean by distribution? Most people call this marketing. I don't call this marketing because marketing often has a preconception of a list of things that you are doing. Marketing normally means making TikTok videos or doing paid ads or talking to an influencer to distribute out your product on your behalf. Yes, that is true. Those are all really important tasks, but distribution is simpler than that and more important and more encompassing. Distribution is how do I get the thing that I'm building or the service that I'm providing to another person who's willing to exchange that good or service for monetary value. In simpler phrasing, how do I make money off with this thing given an interaction with another person? Sometimes your distribution can be the product. Sometimes your distribution could be a social media engine. Sometimes it can be a search engine. Your distribution may look different depending on the business. depending on the users. But what will always be true is that you should start with your distribution strategy and build out your distribution first. So why are we starting with distribution? The key idea that I want to impress here and the claim that I'm making is that we're not building a product. We're not building an app. What we're building is a business. Check. What does that mean? One, well, it means a lot of things. But from my experience, the number one thing that we're doing here is we're building trust and we're exchanging that trust for money. We are saying essentially, hey, we know you have an outcome. For Interview Master, the outcome is very simple. People want better jobs. Particularly, they want data jobs as a data analyst or a data scientist. These jobs typically make a lot of money, but their interview process is very difficult. So at Interview Master, we help those who are looking for a data job uh, more easily obtain their data job. And the way that we go about it is our service, as our product is the app. Now, if I were to say, hey, we're going to help you get your data job. We're going to help you get your data job, but and if you pay us, we're going to help you get there. But then in reality, I don't help them get there at all. In reality, the service that I provide spins them around in circles, and everyone wants a refund. I've not built a very good business. Because even though I exchanged money, the exchange was a trust that I'd fulfill what I said I was going to do. And so this is another concept I bring up because I see a lot of younger founders that are building amazing businesses, but they're building it on top of gimmicks and lies. They're pulling the rug underneath the customers that sign up for their business. And what I'm suggesting that this is not a good long-term strategy. What we're going to be focusing on here is how do we build trust and exchange it for value. And the reason why I think it is really important to build trust here is if you're watching this channel, you're probably using AI to build your application. And the last thing somebody wants to buy is AI slop or some product or service that was generated by AI without any sort of curation or thought from the human that was supposedly developing it. We're not doing that. And in that respect, we're not actually going to be by coding a business here. We're going to be working hard to build a good business. So we've got some ideas. Now, the question is like, okay, Jeremiah, how are we going to do this? Are you going to go walk through the metrics, the history of Interview Master? You want to sit here on a whiteboard and just explain, you're going to sit here on a whiteboard and explain to us step by step how you built your app and so that we can all copy Interview Master and be living happily ever after. No, actually. So this is the first video of many to come. And what we're going to be focusing on is we're going to be building an application together called Leap SAT. What is Leap SAT? Leap SAT is a very simple idea, which is can we make studying for the SAT something that is accessible for students wherever they might be and something that they can do in the 5 to 15 minutes between classes or while they're in line at lunch or waiting for their parents in their after school program? Can we make studying for the SAT something that is fun, like a game, and is enjoyable for them? That's a very simple idea. And you might be asking me, well, hey, I got you. You're starting with idea generation. You're not starting with distribution. And then I'll say, actually, no, I'm starting with distribution. The reason why we're going to be building this thing called Leap SAT is because this week I got a call from my older sister. She has two boys who are in high school. One of them's a senior, one of them's a junior. And she asked me, hey, what should I do to help the eldest prepare for his upcoming? And she called me and asked, like, hey, what can I do to prepare my eldest son for the SAT that's coming up soon? and we have a little bit more than a month to study and increase his score as much as I possibly can. I'm really busy. He's busy with football and academics and everything that he's involved in. Like, what do we do? What what can we do? He goes to school. Then from after school, he's in football practice until 7:30, 8:30. He goes home. He eats dinner. He does his homework, and by that point, he really should be going to bed and preparing for his next day. We're gonna try to at the very end of his day when he's exhausted physically and mentally, we're gonna try to get some SAT setting in. That's very challenging. Um, and so I thought to myself, well, I built a lot of apps. I wonder if I can build something that can help her. I know that by working with my sister, I'm already doing this distribution stuff. I'm already talking to the users, and I already have two users signed up. And assuming my sister pays for it, I already have one customer lined up. Now I just have to build the thing for them. And then if I can build it for them, then she can, you know, tell her friends and tell her other parent friends and potentially other teachers, and we can start spreading to more students and getting more users and paying customers. So in reality, I'm not building this obviously for me. It's not something that I'm trying to build for myself to become better at the SAT. I know I look young, but I'm a little bit more than a little older than a high schooler. No, in fact, we are building this for someone else to solve the pain point that my sister brought up, which is she doesn't feel like there's enough time to prepare and make space for the SAT. So how do we make something that feels like there's enough time where the sessions are small enough that my nephews can get them in their in-between moments and fun enough that they would want to? So that's what we're going to be working on, LeapSAT. You can actually go to the landing page, leapsat.com, right now, and get a sense of it. I'm not going to be talking more about the landing page right now, but in our next video, I am going to be talking more about talking to users. And what are you trying to do when you're talking to a user? Like, are you just going to just take their order and then come back out with an app? Not exactly. The next thing we're also going to be talking about is this idea of a landing page and what is it for and how do you best leverage it? How do you best make it? How do you best express what you're doing in a way that excites people and also captures that attention in some way. And so I hope that you follow for more. We're going to be covering this top to bottom. And for Leap SAT specifically, we're going to be getting to 100 customers. The immediate goal right now is 100 users. And then later, 100 customers. You might not be too interested in this, but just some back of the napkin math, I noticed that there's usually like a 2% conversion rate on varying tools or services. And I do want to make this something that's accessible to students, that they don't necessarily need to pay for in order to reap the benefits of. So we're probably going to need something like, if we want to get to 100 users, then we're going to need to multiply, you know, 100 by 50, which is about 5,000 users in order to get to this 100 goal at a 2% conversion rate. And so the goal really is for me right now, is how do we get to 5,000 users? And then once we get to 5,000 users, we've probably already built a pretty good distribution channel up. Then I can think about converting them to 100 customers. That's my strategy right now. We'll also talk about the pros and cons of different strategies in this instance, but that's how I'm thinking about it. And some other highlights just to really hook you into this because I hope you could take this journey with me. Um, I also am going to be building this as a mobile app, which is a first for me. I built a lot of web apps. I've built a lot of scripts. I've built a lot of data products for businesses. But this is going to be the first time I'm building an actual mobile app that I'm pushing to the Apple and Play Store. So you'll also be able to follow me on that process. I'll be showing you every step of the way, not holding back anything except for maybe my environment variables, like the secret keys. But everything else I'll just put up and show you along the way. If you think that's something that will be interesting to you, please be sure to follow for more. Thanks. Cheers.